Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some big news to discuss, and that is a bombshell report that black operations, covert operations, are expected to commence at any moment inside Venezuela as President Donald Trump opens a new phase of operations against dictator Nicolás Maduro as the military pressure mounts, and Russian troops might be coming to his defense inside Venezuela to help save his regime. We have a ton of different things to go over in this video because there have been rapid developments. I am filming this on November 23rd, so all information is up to date as of November 23rd. Before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. How do you think this ends? How do you want to see this situation end? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that bell, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out with whatever you got. Now, let's get into it. So the United States has continued its massive military buildup off the coast of Venezuela. We have the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier strike group in the region. We have many other naval vessels in the region. We have bomber flights that are essentially flying down from the U.S., going right up to the Venezuela coast, doing simulated bombing strikes on Venezuela. We have stealth fighters. We've got spy planes. We've got submarines. We have a lot of firepower amassed in the region. The Ghost Ship, JSOC's Ghost Ship, is in the region. We have thousands of Marines with the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit in the region. So all of this is going on. And tomorrow, because I'm filming this on November 23rd, on November 24th, Maduro is officially declared the leader of a foreign terrorist organization, which allows the United States military to essentially deepen the toolbox and options it has when it comes to dealing with Maduro. So this is all very fast developing, lots of changes happening, unbelievably fluid situation. Things are changing by the minute, changing by the hour, changing by the day. So that's where we're at going into it. This is a report from Reuters. Says exclusive U.S. to launch new phase of Venezuela operations. Sources say U.S. hopes to ramp up pressure on Maduro government. Covert operations expected as the first step. So the United States is poised to launch a new phase of the Venezuela operations in the coming days. 4 U.S. officials told Reuters as the Trump administration escalates pressure on President Nicolás Maduro's government. Reuters was not able to establish the exact timing or scope of the new operations, nor whether U.S. President Donald Trump has made a final decision to act. Reports of looming action have proliferated in recent weeks as the U.S. military has deployed forces to the Caribbean amid worsening relations with Venezuela. 2 of the U.S. officials said covert operations would likely be the first part of the new action against Maduro. All 4 officials quoted in the article spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of impending actions by the United States. The Pentagon referred questions to the White House. The CIA declined to comment. A senior administration official on Saturday did not rule out anything regarding Venezuela. President Trump is prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice, said the official, speaking on the condition of anonymity. The Trump administration has been weighing Venezuela-related options to combat what it portrayed as Maduro's role in supplying illegal drugs that have killed Americans. He has denied having links to the illegal drug trade. 2 U.S. officials told Reuters that options under consideration include attempting to overthrow Maduro. So Reuters is reporting that covert operations are expected to be the first phase of the combat operations against Maduro, and overthrowing Maduro is very much on the table. Now, when we talk about black ops, when we talk about covert operations, what does that mean? It means you could have CIA Special Activities Division, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, things of those nature. Those would all fall under the black ops umbrella. If you're going to go for a regime change, you're going to need airstrikes. You're going to need boots on the ground. You're going to need a lot of heavy force. But right now, Reuters is reporting that we do have options that have been laid out, and President Trump is expected to authorize and go in with a opening salvo of black ops operations. Those could be targeted hits, targeting critical infrastructure, high-value targets, things of those nature. That's bread and butter for those organizations. All right, that leads me to this. This comes from CBS News. So when it comes to psychological warfare, the U.S. is already considering different plans. It says U.S. considers dropping leaflets in Venezuela as it ramps up pressure on Maduro, sources say. Officials in the Trump administration on Saturday discussed the possibility of dropping leaflets on Venezuela's capital city of Caracas as it seeks to weaken the regime of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Among the potential avenues discussed regarding operations for Venezuela was dropping U.S. leaflets on Caracas as kind of a psychological warfare to pressure Maduro. Multiple U.S. officials familiar with the talk told CBS News the operation, which was not yet authorized, could possibly take place Sunday, which is today, November 23rd. As of this recording, it has not happened, but it is an option they're talking about because today is Maduro's 63rd birthday. We had an ad from CBS News pop up on the screen. So they are talking about psychological warfare, dropping leaflets across Venezuela, across Caracas, reminding people, hey, there's a $50 million bounty on this guy's head. He's going to go one way or another. Help free yourselves. Help us help you. That is what the regime is terrified by. The regime does not want the people rising up. Of course, Venezuela does not have the Second Amendment. They don't have guns. So they don't really have a way to fight. But they do not want people rising up against them like it's Gaddafi or anything of that nature. To that note, Maduro has tightened up security and is essentially using human shields to make sure the U.S. does not bomb him. So it says Maduro tightens up personal security as U.S. strike threats intensify. Venezuela's authoritarian president, Nicolás Maduro, has tightened his security arrangements as he holds carefully choreographed public appearances to rally support in the face of potential U.S. military action. Recent public appearances, including a Caracas rally last week and a televised event with grassroots supporters on Wednesday, have been announced at the last minute, with Maduro appearing alongside lower-ranking party members in front of selected crowds of public sector workers and members of his Socialist Party apparatus. That marks a shift from before the U.S. began assembling a major naval presence in the Caribbean and striking boats it says are trafficking drugs. Previously, Maduro's public speeches were often trailed ahead of time, and he would appear alongside top regime officials and military brass who are now absent to avoid important figures being targeted together. Maduro is deploying the classic security protocols for when a person is being threatened, said Jose Garcia, a Venezuelan military analyst. If he holds a public event, he makes sure there are hundreds of people there so the United States won't attack without having to go through several people first. So he is essentially using crowds as human shields to stop the United States from bombing him at a public event. He's bringing people around them. He is using his own people as human shields. Just a real scumbag move. And while doing that, he is beefing up his security. They are essentially not allowing all military leaders and political leaders, or of course, these are narco terrorists. We know that these are criminals, but he's not getting them all together in the same place at the same time, which actually strategically is a smart move. After 9/11, the United States instituted continuity of government, and we split our people up as well. It is a very, very, very common tactic. Having said that, now, this comes from Fox News' Jennifer Griffin. Let's look at the highlighted area. It says this as reports of diplomats leaving Caracas, flights being canceled due to massive U.S. military buildup off Venezuela's shores, and plans for the U.S. to begin CIA-led covert ops and alleged plans to drop flyers demanding Maduro step down. So Jennifer Griffin is reporting in this tweet that diplomats are fleeing Venezuela, that diplomats are packing their bags and getting the hell out of the country, which is what you think Maduro would do. You think he'd want to leave too in order to save his life, but that is not what is happening. But diplomats from other countries are like, we're getting the hell out of here before the bombs start dropping, before this military action kicks off. We want nothing to do with it. We definitely don't want to be here when it happens. We are leaving. Diplomats are now fleeing the country. And lastly, we have this, which is fascinating. Let me get it up on the screen. Russian general in Venezuela leading advisory mission, Ukraine's intel chief. The longstanding Russian mission in Venezuela is not directly related to the ongoing U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean officially, but they are surging. The Russians are surging troops into Venezuela. It says a controversial Russian general is now in Venezuela leading a rotational advisory mission. The head of Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate told The War Zone. The War Zone does some great reporting. Colonel General Oleg Launch, I can't pronounce that, commands the Russians' Ministry of Defense Equator Task Force. Lieutenant General Kylo Budanov said Makarovich is in charge of more than 120 troops. 120 Russian troops are in Venezuela who are training Venezuelan forces on a wide range of military functions. Those activities are allegedly not in reaction, but I find it hard to believe that the two are not tied together. I think it says in here that they are there for air defenses. Yeah, so it says the troops are likely to remain in Venezuela during a U.S. attack. I think they will be behind the scenes, and officially Russia will try to speak to the U.S. because their units are in Venezuela. It's a game. Russia's serving as military advisors and teachers. It's general infantry, UAV, and special forces training. Among other things, ETF is providing Venezuela with signals intelligence. The deployment of Russian troops to Venezuela is a longstanding rotation. So there you go. Russian troops are in Venezuela. I think this is the guy right here. So the Russians are in Venezuela training Venezuelan troops, training Venezuelan special forces, helping them get their air defense systems active. They are essentially doing whatever the Venezuelans think need to be done in order to save the Maduro regime. This is obviously huge, 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 huge news. The Russians being on the ground is something I think we all knew would happen, could happen. It's only 120 guys. Obviously, that is not going to be enough to save the Maduro regime at all. And I would be shocked if the Russians tried to fight. My guess is the Russians would hide out in the embassy and we would not bomb their embassy because we just don't do things like that. That's not what the United States does. So we have a lot of moving pieces. We have a ton of major developments that I just rattled off to you. This situation will continue to develop, will continue to get crazier, will continue to get more intense. We've got the U.S. preparing black ops strikes inside Venezuela. We have leaflets possibly being dropped. Maduro is using human shields. Diplomats are fleeing. And now the Russians are in Venezuela. I repeat, the Russians are in Venezuela to help save the Maduro regime. I have told you time and time again that this situation is going to get crazier before the foot gets taken off the gas. We aren't even close to hitting the pinnacle of this situation. We will continue to see more and more escalation, more and more chess moves on all sides. And Maduro, he's backed into a corner. He doesn't really have options. The fact of the matter is that he's in huge, 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 huge trouble. That is the fact of the matter. The Maduro regime is on its last leg. It is fighting to survive, and all signs point to it is going down. Now, when will these strikes commence? I do not know. They're not going to tell the public. Obviously, we do not have access to that information, but clearly they are coming, with Black Ops being the first ones ready to roll. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comments below. How do you see this situation unfolding? What do you think the Black Ops strikes will look like? Who will we target? Will we use Delta Force? Will it be the CIA? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge, 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 huge boost to the channel. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with whatever you got. I'll see you all next time.